Good morning and welcome to another episode of Moms in Real Estate.
In something.
It's something, sorry, it's Monday morning and I said I'd kick us off, so of course I messed this up. But we're super excited because today Kristen and I want to dive in and talk to you about personal brand.
Yeah, I love this topic. And my dogs are freaking out behind me all of a sudden. Um, but yeah, I love this brand. I thought, what a great topic because I do feel like, I talk to agents a lot on the marketing aspect, and I feel like this is something they really struggle with. So, we just want to touch on a couple points today, and let's start with like identifying like your value proposition. I think a lot of people struggle with that and like how you can niche down. And a lot of people are afraid of that. So Randy, I feel like you recently did that, and it really impacted your business. So do you want to maybe tell them?
Yeah, twofold. I mean, so I think the biggest fear that agents have is like, especially newer agents that want business are like, I don't want to, eliminate anybody. I don't want to annihilate anybody. And so that's why they feel like if they talk to everybody. And the biggest thing to know is if you talk to everybody, you're really talking to nobody, right? So the first level of like my niching down, which it's funny that we say niching and niching. I don't know which one's right.
I don't
But
either.
my first level was just leaning into my faith, and that was kind of like I got known for that. So it was like I was known as, oh yeah, the person who keeps faith, the Christian real estate agent. But I even went deeper recently that Kristen's talking about, and that was because I love helping families get creative, build compounds, micro farms, things like that. And so literally my new niche, this is
Neat.
just not the day. This is not the day for me to try to speak, but my new niche is helping families escape the suburbs. So I've leaned into that, and it's crazy because it's what you focus on expands. And so again, what we're saying is it can be scary to say this is my person, this is who I'm going to serve, because you still want to serve the other clients, but then you'll actually get more of your ideal clients. And it's like I got two more people looking for compounds. Like I didn't know that many more people were looking to build compounds in my area. So it's been
Yeah,
super successful.
that's awesome. Well, and even like I think sometimes people might overthink this in real estate. So maybe we can give them a couple examples, like maybe if you want to focus on first time buyers,
Yes.
right? The other really important thing to think about when you identify like who you want to niche and talk to is like your messaging around it.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of like just gave your messaging, but even like what is the messaging and the consistent message that you're saying on your social media and your email marketing when you're talking about what your value proposition is and who you serve?
Yeah. Well, the consistent message and consistently solving their problem, right? So
Yeah.
you have to be authentic, and you have to make sure that you're creating consistent content, and it can feel repetitive because you can feel like, gosh, I'm just saying the same thing over and over. But you have to understand that first off, they're not hearing it over and over because social media is way too loud. But secondly, each time that you position a different way, like for me, with rural properties, if I'm talking about a well one day and a perk test another day, like one thing is going to be a pain point for somebody, something else isn't. And so it's
Yeah.
so important to make sure that you're creating consistent content around your niche, right?
Yeah, that was definitely my next point I wanted to talk about was like the consistency of how you're showing up online and not just showing up and just putting stuff out there, but overall consistency with like the value that you're putting out there. Like, what are your brand colors? What are your fonts? Like, having just a cohesive message and brand on your social media pages.
Yeah, I think that one time I remember somebody saying, "Oh yeah, you're the navy blue girl." And so for a long time we're getting ready to rebrand, but for years like we had a deep blue and that was our color. And I just remember like that was an aha for me. I was like, "Dang, they like recognize my color as well." Like oh yeah, you're that deep navy blue girl. So I do think that that's really important, and I think that sometimes we don't understand when you said messaging, and we think about messaging and we don't actually think that like everything we put out is a message. So that includes like the visual content, and we want it to just be consistent, repetitive, and recognizable. Because if
Yeah.
we're just putting out everything, like one day we're empowering first time home buyers, the next day we're talking about luxury, we're talking about this, we're not going deep with anybody. We're just staying at that superficial level.
Yeah, which is that next point. Like when you're building a strong brand, you have to build deep roots with people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you have to like, it's not just about like you saying you're the best person to do XYZ. You've also got to be able to share what your clients are saying about you. So, why don't we spend a little bit of time about how you can build roots with your clients and then also like how you ask for testimonials, and I'll share how I do. So, when you're building deep relationships with people, Randy, you just had a client event like 2 weeks ago, and I feel like that's a really good example of how you can go deeper with your clients.
Yeah, I mean, I go deep with my clients, obviously through relationship. And what event are you talking about, though? I don't remember having a client event
That
recently.
outside, like you were at like big tables and
Oh, that was actually my neighborhood. Yeah. And so that was actually just my neighbors, like just having an event with my
okay.
neighbors, not even my clients. But yes, so I think the biggest thing is like going deep is going to happen through authentic conversation and relationship. So the
Mhm.
way that I was able to like pivot with my neighborhoods was a pain point. Like my neighbors nor I wanted particular growth that was coming into our area. And so I advocated around it and I had conversation, and that changed everything. All of a sudden it went from like, how do I farm to them? How do I market to them? How do I tell them I'm the real estate agent for them, to, oh my gosh, we're in relationship and you're coming to my house and we're having dinner. And I think what we underestimate as real estate agents is the power of storytelling.
Mm.
And we worry about like putting out things that maybe we shouldn't put out, but the connection that happens when we emotionally share with our audience and we share a personal struggle, or we share like our client struggles, and we show relatable successes, that's where the connection happens, right? And then that's where our brand really gets built, and people, that's where the trust gets built. Right
Mm.
now, my clients have this, and my neighbors, as you're talking about, like they come to my house, they've experienced, like, she lives the same life that we live, she values the same things, and so now they trust me. So now when one of them want to transact, they want to come to me because they know not only do I have the skill set and the license to do the real estate, but I share the core values that matter to them, and they would have never experienced that if they didn't get in relationship with me.
Yeah, I love that. It's a great example. Um, I'll tell you guys a couple ways that I ask for testimonials. So I have like specific situations where if I meet with somebody and it's like they come to maybe an event for the first time, for example, they will get an automated email. So create automation around your testimonials. So they will get one and be like, hey, I hope you had the best time. Here's a recap, and then please leave me a review. So I'm constantly like, there's all kinds of different situations in my business where I have that automation set up so that it'll trigger that. So even maybe like a week after closing, you could have built out an email that will automatically like be something that goes in and gets sent to your clients. Or I know a lot of people actually ask through text. What do you do?
Yeah, so I, like you, I build a systemized process, but I do it at different points. And so again, this is where I think that we need to think a little bit differently. And we need to think about the fact that you can get more than one testimonial from one client. And
Yeah.
so what's really been powerful for me is to have them review us on different locations at different milestones. So
Mm.
it's like, oh my gosh, you're in contract. And so now this has been really exciting. Would you go ahead and review us on Zillow up into the point of contract, like how it's been for you, how the hunt has been? And then it's like, can you review us in the escrow phase? Can you review us post closing? And so really going through that, and also thinking about like when emotion, the worst time to ask for a review is closing week. Like it's
Yeah.
the worst freaking time. Like you got to think about where their life is if you
Yeah.
want to actually get really good reviews. And you should be coming, like, you want to leverage being social proof, right? And so
Yeah.
I think that like client events, high points in the transaction. And one of the most powerful things for me has also honestly just been when I go above and beyond. How many times have we as agents like went above and beyond, but the client doesn't know that? And so it's
Mhm.
really powerful to be like, okay, so Sarah, I freaking love you and I'm going to do this, but this is like way above and beyond. So I got to tell you, after I'm done doing this, it's totally going to cost you a review. Like I'm going to send you a link and I need you to do a review on me, or you got to send me a quick, like 30-second video, because I'm going to knock this one out of the park, but it would really help me if you did a review. Like I literally say that to clients and they're always like, yes, absolutely. But they don't know we're going the extra mile if we don't tell them, right?
Yeah, and don't ever be afraid to ask for a review. Maybe like think about it if you got, I know everyone here has been asked to give a review and you want to. Sometimes you don't think about it. So sometimes it's nice if someone's like, here's the link. If you could say something nice about whatever, like it's just nice because they're like, yes, I'm willing to do that. I wouldn't have done that on my own.
Yeah.
Make it super easy for them.
Yeah. And I also think too, like tell them why a review from them matters. So I used to just like blanket, and I still survey every client, but I don't ask for reviews from every client, because another thing, when you are building your brand and you're niching down, you have to understand that you are going to serve people that are not your clients. And so there's people that at the end of the transaction, I don't ever want to serve them again. So I'm not going to get a review from them, because putting out their story is going to get me more people like them. And when you say to somebody like, oh my gosh, working with you was like so freaking awesome and it was life-giving, and I want 20 more Kristens. Like, if I only sell houses to Kristens for the rest of my life, I'm going to be so happy. So a review from you would help me to get more people like you, right? Like, that's powerful. Like, if somebody said they wanted more Randys in their life, I'd be like, heck yes, right? So I think we forget that making them understand why it's important to come from them will change it also.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, that's the 3 tips that we have for you all today. So I hope you enjoyed it. Building a personal brand is super fun. It's something that definitely you should make a priority. If you're struggling with it, feel free to reach out to me and Randy. We love talking about it. Do you have anything else?
Well, I'll lead it on this. A question we get a lot in our big community is, if you're an agent joining a team, should you have a personal brand? And I just want to say yes, yes, yes. And if you're a team leader, you should be helping your agents build personal brands, because at the end of the day, people they don't come to work with the umbrella business, although the umbrella business can have a lot of power. They come to work with the individuals.
Yeah, and even if you're not on a team or whatever, and a brokerage gives you an email address, please do not brand yourself with it. There's nothing worse.
Branding 101, your own email address.
You know how many like super successful, super seasoned agents are ready to leave a brokerage where it says Kristen at blah blah blah.com that hasn't, and it's a big
100%.
process.
100%.
Do not do that.
Well, I love this. And yeah, as Kristen said, if you want to dive deeper in with us, let us know.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.